Mr. President, distinguished Senator, the fourth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of Senator Kakashewu Lawan on the urgent need to commence revision of the laws of Federation of Nigeria, which has remained unrevised for almost 2 decades. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Kakashewu Lawan to move the motion.
Minority Leader. Who is moving the motion? Distinguished Senator Kakashewu. Oh, is that your seat?
No, 55. Point of order.
Yes, distinguished Senator Wadada.
I am Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu Sarkin Yakin Kefi. My order is 55 from 1 to 10, which was earlier on read by Senator Indume, that no senator, after the presiding officer is on his seat, should move, should talk, should do anything. Senator Indume just got to you. And there is another senator now coming to you. So if we are to abide by this order, that means we will be sitting in the chamber as if we are in our graves. Because no human being can live without movement. Movement is part of our life. All I'm trying to say is this rule, it must be reviewed.
Distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that Senator Wadada be ruled out of order? Yes. You are hereby ruled out of order. Senator Kaka, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion on the urgent need to commence revision of the laws of the Federation of Nigeria, which has remained unrevised for almost 2 decades. Note that the laws of the Federation of Nigeria, LFN, is an alphabetical compilation of laws operative in Nigeria, which are updated on a regular basis. Further note that the compilation of the laws of the Federation of Nigeria is carried out under the authority of the Attorney General of the Federation, subject to the approval of the National Assembly through an act. Informed that the last and extant compilation of the laws of Federation of Nigeria was in 2004. Which reckon with all statutes existing in the Federation as of 31st December 2002. Further informed that the laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 was subsequently approved by the National Assembly through the revised edition Laws of the Federation of Nigeria Act 2007, which repealed the revised edition Laws of the Federation of Nigeria Act 1990. Aware that the statutes in the laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 were enacted in different years before and after Nigerians' independence, even though they are all cited as LFN 2004, which consists of 16 volumes, with each volume being made up of several statutes organized in an alphanumeric order. Further aware that there was an attempt to revise the laws of the Federation of Nigeria in 2010, but this effort had no legal framework of the National Assembly approving it. Worried that the laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 has not been revised 19 years after, with the implication that the several laws enacted in Nigeria from 1st January 2003 till date remain excluded from the compilation. Further worried that the continued non-revision of the laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004 has not only left numerous statutes out of the compilation, but also retained many repealed statutes with the attendant confusions and other negative impacts. Concerned that the non-compilation of the several federal statutes leads to dearth of knowledge of many existing laws on the part of Nigerians, especially students, lecturers, researchers, lawyers, legislators, and judges, amongst others. Convinced that revision of the laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 is long overdue, as such will be in the interest of democratic governance in Nigeria to commence the revision process without further delay. Resolved, the Senate is called to resolve. 1. Urge the Senate to mandate its Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters to immediately interface with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to initiate the process of revising the laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and urge the Senate, 2, to give further directives as deemed expedient and appropriate in the circumstances. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I so present and move accordingly. Thank you, sir.
Yes, distinguished Senator Ekong Samson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully move to support this motion. My name is Ekong Samson, Akwa Ibom South. With the kind permission of Mr. President, may I make some adumbrations to the point that have been canvassed by the mover of this motion. I think the major purpose that drives this motion is a need for us to broaden access to justice. We may have the gamut of laws in this country, but we need to explore beyond that and explore towards having the access to justice. We know that our society is dynamic. What defined our laws in the past may not be the same now. So it becomes very critical that we review the gamut of our laws from time to time. The larger intent is that way we broaden access to justice. It is not enough for us to have access to law. We must have access to justice. But beyond that, it is that we must publicize the gamut of our laws. Many Nigerians are in the dark about the content, the structure, and indeed the context of our laws. Through this intervention, it would be easier for us to publicize the gamut of our laws to Nigerians. Within this context, I'm fully in support of this motion, given the nature of our society. The society continues to evolve, and as society evolves, there needs to have some adjustments. This will deepen the tissue of our jurisprudence. So this motion is good, not just for law, it is also good for our jurisprudence. But the larger significance is that through this intervention, it becomes easier to have access to justice. We must have access to justice for us to enjoy our democracy. And we must also ensure that our people knows the content of our laws. Viewed from this backdrop, I support this motion. It is well-timed and truly, it will enrich our law and jurisprudence. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Ning.
Mr. President, thank you very much for recognizing me and your eyes catching mine. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central. Mr. President, this is a very important law. And looking at the global phenomenon today, the name of the game is e-commerce. All over the world, transactions are made electronics. And those nations that have refused to tally with what the world bargains lives to fight another day, and they live to regret it. Compilation of laws. The compilation of the laws has to do with every segment that the law at present has not captured. If you look at Kaka's bill, it brings to bear the gaps that the present laws have actually not met. As a lawyer, I'm sure he has taken his time to do this research. And the best thing for us as a parliament is to take this bill to the second reading. It is there that I'm sure interested public participants will be called to look at it, revisit it, and bring possible amendments to it. So I believe this is a very important bill that the Senate President and this chamber should encourage. Thank you.
That is why it's good to go to Senate early. Distinguished Senator Dengi, thank you for your contribution, but this is an emotion, not a bill.
It is a motion.
So it's not going for
change it for me. Motion.
I'll do that.
Motion,
so I was saying, whenever you come early, I know your contributions are always fantastic. So thank you for this one.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. So the distinguished Senator Kaka,
yeah.
Your motion, we can now go into the prayers. Prayer 1, mandate the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to immediately interfere with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to initiate the process of revisiting the laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. Those who are in support of this prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, give such further directives as deemed expedient and appropriate in the circumstances. Those who are in support of this prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank distinguished Senator Kaka for this motion, and also thank all our distinguished colleagues for their contributions. There is no doubt that we have different versions of the Nigerian laws on the streets of Abuja being sold. We even have different parts of the Constitution, and sometimes even the subtitles are wrong. And all sorts of people are just printing these things. Even most of the amendments that have been initiated in the Senate, passed and signed into Acts of Parliament by Mr. President are not reflected in some of the things that they are selling on the road. So it will be good for us to revisit and put these things together for the benefit of Nigerians, and particularly their lordships in the last judges conference, ongoing judges conference, even pointed this out, that it's important that we do the necessary things, and then of course gazette them and then forward it to them, because sometimes the amendments are not reflected in the Acts of Parliament, and they have no ways of knowing. because these things are not forwarded to them. So I've discussed with the clerk of National Assembly that must be done. And so the compilation of this is very important. So it's a very important bill, and I urge the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and other matters to work closely with the Office of the Attorney General to bring about the reform in our laws. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the fifth order of the day
the mood of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished senators. I've just been informed of the various committee meetings slated for this afternoon and other legislative activities that distinguished senators need to participate in. In view of this, therefore, Mr. President and distinguished senators, I would like to move that we step down the order orders of the day as contained on order paper to the next legislative day. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, in view of the mood of the Senate, I rise to second the motion that all other items on the order paper be stepped down to the next legislative day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those who are in support of the motion are seconded by the Minority Leader that we do step down the other items on the order paper to enable members and their colleagues attend to various committee meetings and also attend to the ongoing discussions on the budget. Say aye. Those against say nay. The other things are hereby stepped down to the next legislative dates. So let me thank all members for a wonderful session, very peaceful session, and at the end we arrive at very serious conclusions for the benefit of Nigerians and for direction of the future. Then just for the benefit of the clerk of the Senate, there was, in the course of reading the amendments or the further committees, chairman, vice chairman, there was a slight error in one. As I speak now, the senior Senator Ismail Akawu is in Lagos representing us as vice chairman of the Navy. So, so we inadvertently recognize him for cyber crime, Committee on ICT and Cyber Crime. So the vice chairman of the Navy is actually Senator Abdurrahman Ismail Akawu, vice chairman of Navy, and he's already in Lagos doing the function of this Senate with the Nigerian Navy, while the vice chairman of ICT and Cyberspace Committee is actually Senator Sani Dango Daura, and the one I said I will get back to you later was the vice chairman of Solid Minerals, and that is Senator Ifeanyi Oba. Having exhausted the items on the order paper and having had a very fruitful and peaceful deliberations today, this Senate is hereby adjourned to Wednesday, the 22nd day of November at 11 a.m. prompt.
Kaba, Caesar.